And good evening. Good evening, and welcome to Facebook Live with myself, Ruth, from Top Schools. This is my regular Thursday evening Facebook Live. Ask me anything, any questions that you have related to Hong Kong private schools or UK independent schools. So I can see that the people coming on. It usually takes a little while for you to warm up. Last week was a bit frantic, but thank you for all your questions. And I hope I try my best to be super honest and transparent and to give you the real advice. So I've been working in this field since 2012. I set up Top Schools back then to advise parents to gain admission into Hong Kong international schools. The definition that I give these days, and it's interesting, somebody asked me about this yesterday. I no longer say international schools all the time. I do say it most of the time because that's generally what the parents understand. But we do more than international schools. So we work with schools that are offering predominantly a non-local curriculum, predominantly in English, but also in Putonghua, and they are fee-paying schools. So that's my definition, and that would include international schools, but that includes private schools. In fact, international schools are a subset of private schools. So I hope that makes sense. So if you have any questions about those kinds of schools in Hong Kong or UK independent schools, I will answer them live. And if you do have questions, I know, I get a lot of questions throughout the week. I try my best. But I like this format. I think that if you have that question, then presumably somebody else has had that question or may have that question at some point in the future. So why not ask it here, and the answer can benefit more than one family? Why not? So while I'm waiting for any questions that might come in, a couple of things to say about this week. I think I said last week that it feels very different, that there's lots of activity. And unfortunately, with lots of activity, i.e. moving into the new school year, means that now is the time to apply for the next school year. So more activity, and unfortunately, that means more tension. I'm feeling a lot more tension and anxiety among my families. I really try to do my best to comfort them. It should be as simple as possible. It need not be super stressful. I know it's an emotional process, but we try to streamline it. We try to eliminate a lot of the stresses, a lot of the expense, and make sure that you apply to 3 schools and get 1. So what questions do you have for me? Thank you. Okay, so the thing is, what did I want to say about... Yeah, so 29th of August, lots and lots of schools have announced their open days, their online admissions events, their regular small tours or larger tours. Why do you need to visit a school? So I've been having conversations with parents that, what we do is we give some suggested schools, and usually it's too many to apply to. So that list might run to sort of 8 to 10 to 12 schools. And quite a lot of the time, parents are looking at this list going, nah, eliminating it straight off the bat. And what I will always encourage them to do, and what I would encourage you to do, is, especially if the recommendation has come from a good place, has come, from somebody that knows your family, that thinks that this school might be a good fit, what's the harm in just taking a few hours to go and have a look? What's the downside? You've wasted a few hours. But there's lots of upsides. We have a primary school checklist. We have a secondary school checklist. Just write checklist in the comments if you would like me to share that with you. I don't normally share it outside of our program, but I just said that I would. So, I find it useful because once you've visited a few different schools, you can't remember the differences. They all kind of say the right things, right? A lot of them say the same things. This is one of my biggest frustrations. I will say directly face to face with the director of admissions. Everyone says that. Don't tell me that, our pastoral care is outstanding and excellent, and all of the children will have access to a counsellor, to their tutor. And don't tell me that. All schools say that. And actually, isn't that just like an absolute minimum that you would expect from one of these expensive fee-paying schools? So it does frustrate me that these schools find it difficult to differentiate themselves, and you'll find it difficult to differentiate between them once you've visited a few. So we have a little checklist that will help you to at least make some notes as you go around. And there's a few key questions at the end of that checklist. I'm trying to remember now. I did it so many years ago. One of the key questions is, does this school make the cut? Is it still in the running? Are you still considering this school for your child? Does it feel like a potential fit? Yes or no? And even if it's a no, and I still think it's worth going to visit schools when you come out of that school going, no way, absolutely not. But it still is not necessarily a few hours wasted. There's definitely some good information. If you know what to look for and you know how to interpret what they say, I think that you can actually get clarity by understanding what you don't want, in terms of with a view to clarifying what you do want. So I would suggest that you absolutely do not try to save time or for whatever reason make excuses for not visiting the schools, because it's a really, really important, and it's a really important part of the process, and I can't do that for you. I mean, I visit schools all the time, but you have to do it and you have to see it. So I often use the analogy of buying a house, right? Or even renting a house, right? My other business is property, so I do a lot of that as well. But have you ever been with a property agent, and the first thing is they show you properties that are way over your budget, outside of your location requirements and all of that, but you're walking up to the front door of the property and instantly you get a feeling that this is not it, right? I think you can get that same feeling when you walk onto a school campus. You can either feel that this is not it, this might be it, or this is it. You get, it's a very emotional feeling. So I can see lots of people joining late. I've been talking about school visits. Do not try to buy into some sort of false economy of saving time by not visiting the schools that you're not interested in. That's a very long-winded way of saying go visit schools, okay? Please. I know what I'm talking about. And go visit, and even if your child is a bit younger, go and visit. You might have an opportunity to visit a different campus. You might have an opportunity to visit multiple times. If your child is 3-4 years old and the primary school campus is on a separate location, I would recommend that you go visit the primary school campus first, or as well, at least as well. Because a lot of schools have their 2s, 3s, and 4s in a separate location. But that's only a couple of years. That's really only a means to an end. I get parents say to me, well, I don't really like the preschool, doesn't have any outdoor space. Get over it. That's not where your child will be staying for the duration of their school career. It's actually just a means to an end. You need to get into the system early. You need to enroll in K1 just to be in with a better chance of getting into year 1. Okay. So do you have any questions? Hi guys, hi Kareem, hi Christine. Not sure if you're still here. So that was my first thing about school visits. I have a calendar that we have in our community that I keep updated. Most of the school visits are all online registration. They're announcing them all the time. It's first come, first served. So you really need to be on it. And I'll be visiting a number of the schools as well when I get back. So I'm currently in the UK, hence my hoodie. It's not freezing, but it's not Hong Kong weather. So if people are looking to chat with me, I'm available for the Hong Kong evenings for the next couple of weeks. So if there are no more questions, I will stop waffling. We are on here the same time next week, every Thursday at 6 p.m. And if there's anything that you would like to share, if you'd like to come on, let me know. Have a great rest of the evening, guys. Take care. Bye-bye.